Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show tonight, guys. We have some huge, bold breaking news coming from Trump and Johnson, as well as Elon Musk, that just broke. You're about to hear it here first. But Mike Johnson and Trump are making some of the biggest and boldest plays on the censorship of the Biden administration. They said they're going to be working with outside help, such as Elon Musk, to release classified documents on Facebook, Instagram, the FBI, and the DOJ to release what happened during the 2020 election. Mark Zuckerberg was one of the biggest ones that they say they had a lot of involvement with the Facebook and censoring the 2020 election, the Hunter Biden laptop. Trump says he feels like they can prove that he actually did win the 2020 election with all the things that they have at their disposal with the classified documents. Guys, this could be huge. Imagine where he won the 2016 election, he technically won the 2020, and now he's won the 2024. So historic. We also have this huge breaking news. Elon Musk, according to officials, is now on the table to actually purchase TikTok, one of the biggest social media companies out there, from ByteDance, company from the China Communist Party. The officials are trying to make it so that Elon Musk will be running the company. I'm going to show you the breaking news in just a moment. But remember, TikTok has been taking so much of the users' data without them knowing it, sending it back to the CCP. This would be a huge addition to tie this in with X.com to allow free speech and whatnot. This is huge if he is able to acquire it. But right now, the government officials are saying they're trying to work a deal for him to be the one to acquire it. We also have new legislation that has been added to the table for day one to go through the new Congress to allocate the necessary funds needed to purchase Greenland, guys. Big moves. Bold plays, guys. Huge. We now have the legislation. We called it right here days ago. Go check it out. We also have where Texas is now resuming the border wall construction ahead of Trump's inauguration, and saying that if the Biden administration has any problem with them adding more border wall, they can take it up with Trump. And lastly, guys, there is an all-out war right now with people who do not want Mark Zuckerberg around Trump. They say he's a traitor, he's done too much, and that he needs to stay away, guys. You're going to love, because again, too, the facts speak for themselves. We got a ton of breaking news to jump into tonight, guys. I'm so excited. You're going to love it. I want to say thank you to everybody that's watching. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button so I can take care of you with the top news. And if you don't mind, click the thumbs up like button, guys. It really does help so much with the channel. And thank you so much to all of our amazing, awesome, best people on YouTube members. If you want to be a member, the link is in the description to join. And remember, we take this money and we give it to charity once per month all together. Guys, we've already given thousands of dollars to charity live on this channel because of your support. And thank you to everybody that gives a super chat donation. We are so grateful. But we want to jump right into this news, guys. This is big. What is breaking? You're going to love it. You're here to hear first. Check it out. Oh, sorry, guys.
Exist. Here's why the story is so devastating. I want you to watch this first. This is a news report out of the West Coast, out of California. The California legislature is watching the primary economic engine of its state, Los Angeles, and this economic powerhouse, which it is, burned to the ground. And what are these left-wing dips up to? Reinforcing their state for their anti-Trump agenda moving forward. I wish I was kidding, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not. Watch this.
Morning, members.
Despite several empty seats in the chamber because of the LA wildfires, the Democratic State Assembly gaveled into its special legislative session to prepare for incoming President Donald Trump.
I'd ask that you keep in mind
Governor Newsom called the special session shortly after the election. As fires raged in Southern California, state lawmakers still prioritized their anti-Trump work. They established a committee and set a hearing for the legislation that sets aside $25 million to prepare for legal battles with the incoming administration.
I'm here to address this.
Democratic Assembly Speaker Robert Rivas didn't want to talk about it afterward.
Here's more of California Democrat, liberal communist Speaker Robert Rivas Here, I'm actually shocked here. Here's a media person actually doing actual reporting, which is a stunning thing to see because you so rarely see it, asking this dip of a human being, Robert Rivas, says, you know, the economic engine of its state burns down and people lose everything. I saw a story this morning on cable of a 99-year-old grandmother who had her entire house wiped out. And what's the $25 million going for him? Suing Donald Trump, who's not even in office yet. Folks, I can't even tell you the depravity of the scum running the state of California. Here's a reporter asking this guy questions like, hey, bro, you know, the state's kind of burning down right now. Maybe we should have some different priorities than a special session about Trump. Watch this. Can't even answer the question. Check this out.
I could take a couple of questions. I do have to jump on a call here in a few minutes.
With that, I mean, with what you just mentioned and kicked off here, is now the right time to have a special legislative session on allocating money to fight Trump in a way that you could already do without a special legislative session?
So I'm here to address these wildfires. This is a historic wildfire. This is a historic event. These wildfires, as I mentioned, are going to be quite possibly some of the worst wildfires and disasters in state and
but minutes ago,
in national history.
House, while this wildfire is happening, and while people are trying to understand what's going on and are worried about disaster relief, worried about the ability to get homeowners insurance, your chamber gavelled into a special legislative session to prepare for Donald Trump in a way that you are already able to do without a special legislative session. So again, is now the right time for that?
So certainly our focus right now is Speaker, Ashley. At this moment, my colleagues and I, we are acting with great urgency.
Folks, I don't know this media person at all, but Justin brought up a good point. My guess is either she's been personally affected or someone she knows has, or someone she knows someone who's had the tragic situation, like I did early in my life, of a house burning down where everything you ever had is destroyed. And you won't even figure it out till later in life, and you need something that burned. When it becomes personal liberalism, the gaslighting is harder. You cannot isolate people from the truth and censor them from hearing about how masks don't do when their house is burning down. Understand, the governor and the liberal mayor of Los Angeles, Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom, they have sold you on a vision, correct? Give us half of your money, the government can solve your problems, and we will fix the big things for you. Ladies and gentlemen, not only they can't do the little things, they can't do the big things. Santa Ana winds have been there forever. I was reading a story the other day about how in the mid-1500s, explorers first saw the bay and the areas over there, and they called it the Bay of Smoke because lightning would strike and these Santa Ana winds would stir up wildfires. This has been happening forever.
For a long time.
And the bullshit government, which has stolen your money, has done jack squat except protect the smelt. Here's Adam Schiff, the newly elected senator. Here he is on TV. Now, he has done some hits talking about this fire, but he's the newly elected senator, this scumbag, this lying Russian collusion hoaxer, this piece of looked in the television on the Tucker Carlson show on Fox, looked in the camera and lied to America saying he had evidence of collusion falsely. Here he is on TV. This guy should be only discussing his state burning to the ground. What's he worried about? Calling Donald Trump a convicted felon. That's who this piece of... Check this out.
And, what I had been hoping is that the judge would sentence the president to whatever any other similarly situated felon would receive by way of sentence. Now, that did not happen, and it didn't happen for a reason that the judge properly articulated, which is this man, this now convicted felon, is going to be the president of the United States.
Of course, this goes on forever, him talking about convicted felon. Ladies and gentlemen, you should embrace it. Donald Trump is a political prisoner. He has been for a long time. Just because he's not in jail doesn't mean he isn't a prisoner of the mechanism of the state. He has been. And now we're going to dismantle it. What did I tell you on Friday the goal is? Does anybody remember? It was 3 words. The goal moving forward, don't ever forget this, is total personnel warfare from this point on. Total personnel warfare.
Clean the house.
Total. Everybody gets fired. you touched it, you sniffed it, you were anywhere near an anti-Trump weaponized government conspiracy theory, or you did nothing and sat by, everyone gets fired. Total personnel warfare.
Guys, let me tell you this. I seen this, somebody posted this, and I wish they would say this. Dear people of California, coming from Joe Biden will be giving you a one-time payment of $770 to help you rebuild your homes. He told that to North Carolina. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not even sharing my screen. Right here. This was the moment that Biden said, hey, no expense for 180 days. We're going to give you as much money as you need, 100%. We're not holding back. And this person put Joe Biden will be giving you a one-time payment of $770 to help you rebuild your homes. Yeah, I wish that's what they told North Carolina. But look, no expense for the people of California. Completely one-sided. Ronald Zimmerman, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. He said, I can't wait until January 20th. Me too. Virginia Friday, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. And what's new? Said Newsom has done more damage to California than the fires. 100%. That's all. Y'all are awesome, guys. Y'all also show what's new, Virginia Friday, and Ronald some love in the chat, guys. I want to show you, this is a breaking news, guys. Officials are evaluating a plan for Elon Musk to take over TikTok U.S. operations, according to a report by Bloomberg. Bricks News reported it. China considers option where Elon Musk acquires TikTok U.S. Guys, huge news. Because you know that Elon Musk would allow it to be free speech. On top of that, the other big news, guys, we are hearing Trump is about to lay waste to so much with all his executive orders that it is like the truth is coming, and I don't think people are ready for it. Listen to this.
Fire, not just at the border, but also with the economy.
JD said it best. We're just 1 week away until we say goodbye to Joe Biden's dumpster fire presidency and say hello to Trump's shock and awe day one plans. The president-elect is set to unleash 100 executive orders on everything from the border to mass deportations and finishing that big, very big, beautiful wall.
Yeah, I want to be on that team.
Looks like we're all set, Jessica.
You know what I'm excited about? I'm excited that the president coming in recognizes that the first order of government is the protection of its people.
Yes.
And he's going to do that by closing the border. He's going to do that by making sure that, illegals who were committing crimes are deported, and they will be deported. I don't care how big it is or how they're going to be deported. And that we start making changes in statutes across this country as it relates to crime and criminals being out on without bail. School gender policies. I'm looking forward to those changes. I'm looking forward to changes in vaccine mandates. Many of us are sorry that we took the vaccine from the pandemic that was forced on us if we wanted to come back to work. So there's going to be a lot of executive orders, 100 on next Monday, compared to 4 in 2017 when he became president. So it's all good. I'm excited.
Yeah, they're definitely ready this time for sure. Dana, where do you think in the first couple weeks are the people going to feel the biggest impact of Trump back in the White House?
I think a little bit will be psychological, right? Especially on the energy side of things, like signals, like the energy permitting is going to get better. We've got this underhand. We're talking to the governors. I think that there will be a lot of the signals that can happen. I don't exactly know all the specifics of how immediate change can happen, but just all of those signals. For example, Biden did that. When you cancel the Keystone Pipeline, that's a signal.
Yeah.
And so everybody knows that. So that can change. I do think that the vice president-elect, J.D. Vance, is smart to try to lay some groundwork about the dumpster fire that they are inheriting. Part of it is on prices and inflation. You already see this back and forth with the Fed. Things are not great, okay? And the Biden economy is not considered to be wonderful. In fact, people don't have a lot of confidence, and they'll say, but we have so many jobs. Like, we knocked on so many doors. We have so many jobs. But it's not translating to confidence, and that includes from people who are small business owners, except, again, that signal that the permitting, for example, could get better. But there's something else happening. The Biden administration took some money from the Medicare department to put in for electric vehicle credits.
You see that,
okay?
guys?
And then they thought they would be smart and they would deal with it in January. They're not going to be there to deal with it in January. So now this is something that gets put into Trump's lap, and the seniors are expecting big premium increases in prescription drug prices, partly because of all of these things. So these are like little breadcrumbs of trails that you can see that the Trump administration is smart. Lay the groundwork and say, here's the things that we are inheriting, and we are going to fix them, but it's going to take us some time.
I cannot believe he stole money from our seniors' grant.
I've been telling you that.
And spent it on this green boondoggle.
Interesting point. I faded out during that part. But anyway, I'm kind of curious about how the Democrats are going to be reacting through this. You know, Trump may be the best thing ever for Democrats who want to seek to fix their party, and not for the reasons that the media think that he's going to be a great adversary. No, he's going to be an ally. See, in a way, you'll get this, Jessica, Trump is like Moses. Parting the Red Sea or the Blue Sea so that moderate Democrats can go towards the exits and find the middle ground of common sense. Please clip that. That's why I'm kind of excited when I see people like Fetterman and Stephen A. Smith and Zuckerberg. They're kind of like going like, oh, man, you know what? Now I can say this stuff. Let's get rid of the tampons, you know? And it's like, you know what? Maybe a guy can't be a girl. Everybody's doing that. You know what Ducey asked Trump, you know, have you changed? Or have they changed? He was talking about the Democrats. Yeah. And Trump said quite diplomatically and in a humble way, we both changed. That was kind of him saying, you know what? Let's play ball. He's suggesting and striving for a middle ground by essentially saying, look, I know behind closed doors, you hate that you wasted all that time on trans hysteria and climate hysteria and identity politics. I know that. But we share a common ground on illegal immigration and crime in the economy. And now, when we're looking at the fires, it's a necessity of competence. So why don't we get together? We could see over the next year or so a different Democratic Party. If a Democratic Party were a high school right now, there'd be no math department, no English department, no history department, no economics department, just one big giant drama department, teaching people that the only thing that matters is who you are. If they replace that with, like, what can you do? That would be huge. Yeah. And I think that's what you need.
Like shop.
Yeah, shop. Lose a finger.
Home
it's
ec.
worth it.
I loved home ec.
Did you?
I made it,
guys, let me tell you this. I love what I'm seeing because things are starting up again, guys. Check this out. Border wall is resuming. Look at this beautiful, beautiful work being done on the border wall. Finally, protect Americans. Lynn Defoe, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. She said, Joel, you are always here for us. God bless you and your beautiful family. Thank you so much. God bless you, Lynn. And Andy, thank you so much for the super chat. I said, I just want to say that I'm a member for over a month. I don't know if you know that. I just wanted to say that, hey, Andy, appreciate you so much, guys, for your support. We couldn't do this without you. Andy and Lynn, y'all show Andy and Lynn some love in the chat, guys. We've got the best chat because I love the conversations that happen. Like, y'all going back and forth and talking about all this stuff. It's so awesome. But this is the thing, guys. So the Biden administration was like, well, you're not supposed to be starting the border construction just yet. And Governor Abbott said, what are you going to do? Because you're gone in a couple of days, brother. Take it up with Trump. I love it, guys. The ferocity. But I want to show you this because, again, too, remember I told you about the censorship, about what's going on with Facebook? Listen to this.
Let's bring in House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan, also serves on the Oversight Committee. Chairman Jordan, good to have you with us as always. Elections have consequences. I think that's pretty clear in the relationship that corporate America has decided to forge with the new administration. How do you see it?
Well, yeah, but I first want to comment on what President Biden said about Mr. Zuckerberg's decision, how it's somehow shameful. That is ridiculous. What he did, what Meta did, what Facebook did is say, we're going to embrace fully the First Amendment. They get rid of the independent fact checker and they go to more speech. Someone, the great Supreme Court justice said in an important case, the best way to combat false speech, wrong speech, hate speech is more speech. And that's the model Elon Musk has on Twitter. That's the model they're adopting, I should say now, on Facebook.
And it's about
that is
dang
exactly
time.
right, because it's consistent with one of the greatest things we have as Americans, the First Amendment and true free speech. So I applaud him for doing it. I think the other big thing is what a change in 2 years. A couple years ago, President Trump was barred from all these platforms. No one would have thought we would have gotten to the position we are today, where there's a real embrace of free speech rights and the First Amendment.
No, it's fascinating to watch. And just jumping off of what you're saying about the things that can be said and what President Biden said about being shameful, in Axios, this is what they wrote about it. Under Meta's newly relaxed moderation policies, women can be compared to household objects, ethnic groups can be called filth, users can call for the exclusion of gay people from certain professions, and people can refer to a transgender or non-binary person as an it. What would you say to Axios about I'm not sure exactly where they got these specific examples, but I guess they're saying anything will go.
Well, and no one agrees with that, but people are going to say that's ridiculous, and there's going to be other speech to combat that ridiculous speech. That's how it works in a free society. That's how it works in America. What I do know is a couple years ago when we started our work, the Democrats said, oh, this is a conspiracy theory. It's not really going on. Well, it sure was, and we saw example after example. And one thing RFK Jr. said when we had him come testify. By the way, Martha, when we had RFK Jr. come testify in a hearing, the Democrats made a motion to go to executive session so that no one could hear what RFK Jr. was going to testify to in a hearing on censorship. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. But he made a great statement in that hearing. He said, when you look at history, it is never the good guys who are for censorship. It is always the bad guys. More speech is what we need. Argue it out, debate it out, the stupid things, bad things that get said. More speech comes along and people say, I don't believe the crazy stuff. I believe what's accurate. That's how you do it versus the government who thinks they're smarter than the rest of us, telling us what we can say, what we can say, can't say, what we can tweet, what we can't post. I mean, it's ridiculous to go the other way.
Yeah, it's interesting to me as well that he's making comments about companies in America needing more, quote, masculine energy. Listen to this clip from the Rogan interview.
I think a lot of the corporate world is like pretty culturally neutered. The kind of masculine energy, I think, is good. And obviously, society has plenty of that, but I think corporate culture was really like trying to get away from it.
Boy, I mean, I think about the years that we spent talking about toxic masculinity and how it existed, and almost, you would think every single boy and young man in the country, what he's getting at, we're going to put up a screen here, they've rolled back DEI initiatives at all these companies, so he's not alone in this. What's your reaction to that?
I think a lot of the credit goes to President Trump, his message. I think a lot of credit goes to Elon Musk as the first one. I think he said he didn't spend X number of billions of dollars to buy Twitter. He spent those billions of dollars to protect the First Amendment. I think a lot of it, the credit goes there. And then, frankly, I think we're just getting back to the truth and common sense.
Yes.
People are sick of all the woke stuff, sick of the DEI, sick of men participating against women in sports, sick of all the things that the left was doing. And on November 5th, they spoke up loudly and clearly, and now we're seeing that play out, and I think it's good for the First Amendment, good for the Constitution, good for the country.
Yeah, it's a fascinating transformation, and it's so different from 2016, so we'll see where we...
Guys, it's polar opposite of 2016. It's so crazy. Look at this. Somebody posted this, said the Republican establishment was against him. They were. Because remember, Jeb Bush was supposed to be the one to be president, not Donald Trump. The Democrat establishment was against him. The news media, almost the entire world was against him, and he defeated them all. Because everyone who loves America was with him. The people were with him. Not all the establishment, not all the elites. It was the people. And when the people get together, that's whenever you can see the power of we, the people. I want you to listen to this, guys. Because what you just heard about the Facebook, the censorship, all that's happened, it is so clearly laid out. Why? Don't trust Zuck. We need about 10 years for him to make up for all the crap that he's done. Listen to this.
I can only handle so much of that. It's 13 January, Monday in the year of our Lord 2025. And Mark Zuckerberg, for all the money that you have, you need to get a better acting coach. Wow. The Biden regime officials, Mark, they cussed at you and your engineers. Wow. And you folded like I've never seen anyone fold. The entire MAGA movement had what? Every arrow in the quiver, the entire full force of this state, of this regime, prison sentences, assassination attempts, Stephen K. Bannon, Peter Navarro, Donald J. Trump. And they stood in the breach and took it like real men and fought for this country. And some weird, woke-looking bureaucrat cussed at one of your engineers, probably an H-1B, and you folded, and you sold this country down the river, so much so that you gave, nearly $1 billion to make sure that Joe Biden, on very illegitimate grounds, could become this country's next president.
And what she's talking about is the $440 million that Zuckerberg gave to a Democratic super PAC to help Biden win the 2020 election.
Maybe in all the new hobbies that you're picking up in your free time, whether it's the jujitsu or the wakeboarding, whatever you're posting to try to pretend and dupe this country into thinking that you're a human. Maybe you should start reading history books and learn about the trials and tribulations that people have been put through and the courage that they have mustered to stand in the breach, which you, Sir Mark Zuckerberg, have none of. Speaking of history, I'm so glad. What was it? 5 years ago. 5 years. Wow. 5 years ago. You lectured at Georgetown on free speech. Thank you. Thank you for your contributions to humanity. Thank you. I am so embarrassed and appalled at so many people in the MAGA conservative right who have taken this conversion as something that is legitimate. I have seen transgender surgeries and drag queens that are more convincing than this. There are so many people who have fallen for they took the tampons out of the bathrooms at Meta HQ. Oh, now they're apparently not using DEI. Well, I missed the point where anyone mandated that they do any of that stuff. It was on them. They chose to do that. So you can accept the consequences of your actions. And if you think that Mark Zuckerberg is MAGA or if he is our new friend and that he's going to help us, well, then that's almost as dumb as thinking when a stripper tells you that they love you, that they actually love you.
Dang.
And I might seem super enthused or agitated right now, but it's because I'm hearing the conversations going on behind the scenes about how people are falling for this and the very intense and elaborate and well-funded lobbying campaign that the Metas of the world and the TikToks, although they're already being successful on that front, are waging right now on the MAGA right to get people to sign up and become on board with what Zuckerberg is selling you. To go a little more, shall we say, intellectual, right? What you're witnessing right now, it shows you, right? In 2016, they infiltrated the White House. They infiltrated the MAGA movement. So they didn't even feel the need to co-opt our movement because it wasn't worth co-opting. Now that we're actually legitimate opposition, they're pretending to be one of us, right?
Yeah.
Now suddenly,
now that
they
Trump's
see the light.
in office,
they get the MAGA. After trying to spend 4 years of censoring us, deplatforming us, debanking us, throwing us in jail and celebrating it? Right? Fact checking, I don't know if you picked up in that video, it's a limited hangout. It's not about the fact checking. It's about the algorithms, the manipulation on both sides of the equation, suppressing and shadow banning conservative content while promoting Joe Biden. The fact that your website has been used to make it easier for human traffickers to carry out illegal immigration and human smuggling and drug smuggling. The cartels love Facebook. And then he has the nerve. By the way, I don't know about you. I didn't hear the word sorry in any of those interviews. A sorry would go a long way, right? But then he has the nerve to say that we mistakenly, operative word there, mistakenly censored Americans because, I don't know, our parameters were set too wide. Well, hang on, Mark, because I thought you were importing, the best and brightest, all the H-1B techies, right? But I guess they're not very good at their job. Okay, well, I guess we'll set that debate aside for a second. But it was a mistake. Do you think it was a mistake when, everyone that they censored was people who voted for Trump and basically the entirety of this audience?
100%.
I don't think that was a mistake. I think it was wholly intentional. Right? The only reason that we even know about this stuff, that we know about the fact checkers, is because this show and other investigative reporters dared to report on it. They were not forthright. I'm pretty sure they told us they didn't even have fact-checking programs. It's a testament to the power of this audience and independent reporting. You think Mark Zuckerberg wanted to make that video? Hell no. And I guess we'll do a little fact-checking of our own. Because Mark Zuckerberg says, China, we can't follow the path of China, the Chinese Communist Party, they're so evil. Well, Mark Zuckerberg, just to really put a nice, strong period on the sentence that you're fake and you're phony and that you're a fraud, you have been spending, I don't even know how long, longer than probably I've been alive, trying to get in China, trying to get Facebook services, Meta services into China. And the only reason that you're not a total sellout supplicant to them right now is because they don't want you, because they understand the threat of having a new tech, oligarchic, monopolistic class of people like yourselves who become more powerful than the government.
Guys, I'm telling you, I'm really liking the War Room. I mean, Steve Bannon has her on there for a reason, guys. She don't play. One of the things I want to show you guys is that there is a new Democratic movement coming in place that is literally aligning with Trump. And leading the charge is our boy John Fetterman. Trust me, I was with y'all. This dude seemed like a crazy nut job whenever he first came in. But guess what? I'm changed. I like him. So based. Trump said, so he had a meeting with Trump. Trump had a meeting with John Fetterman, Democrat of Pennsylvania. He said it was a totally fascinating. He's a fascinating man, and his wife is lovely. I couldn't be more impressed. He's a common sense person. He's not a liberal or conservative, which is beautiful. Guys, that's a lot for Trump to say about somebody, especially when they have a D after their name for Democrat. That is huge. But again, too, what a lot of people, I want to show you this too, because this right here, what Biden is trying to do, the outgoing Democrats, I think he is the last of the old ways Democrats. We have a new place that's coming in just because of Trump. He redid the Republican Party, and he's so impactful, he's changing the Democratic Party too, I believe. Check this out.
Joe Biden's on his farewell tour, and he's ending the presidency the same way he started it, whispering and yelling.
We're the United States of America, for God's sake. There is nothing beyond our capacity if we do it together and commit to it. Nothing.
Joe drove the country into quicksand. Now he's spending the last week in the Oval saying he nailed it.
A new era has begun. In these 4 years, we faced crises that we've been tested. We've come through those tests stronger. During my presidency, I've increased America's power at every dimension.
Trade, the border, Afghanistan, Russia, the Mideast. Biden has no regrets. Do you feel more powerful than you did 4 years ago? The new era actually starts next week.
I'll always be an optimist about our country, but I think that optimism has to start with a bit of realism. And the real truth is that Joe Biden has left us a dumpster fire. Donald Trump is going to have to put it out, but he's good at doing that.
The Trump team's coming in hot. This time they know how Washington works. They have 100 executive orders ready to rock on day one. And Melania said it's a turnkey operation.
The first time was challenging. We didn't have much of the information. The information was upheld for us from previous administration. But this time I have everything. I have the plans. I could move in. I already packed. I already selected the furniture that needs to go in. So it's very different transition this time, second time around. I think it will be an exciting 4 years. We have a lot to do and put the country back in shape.
Historians are calling Trump's win a tectonic election, a permanent shift in how people vote. That'll be cemented in history only if Trump delivers. Revive the economy, wind down foreign wars, and gut the bureaucracy with DOGE. And Trump's off to a good start. Unlike 2016, major corporate players are getting behind the president. Here's JP Morgan's CEO. Listen.
Have you talked to him about tariffs? If you could talk to him right now, what would you say?
I have not spoken about tariffs. I think you should read the art of the deal. He's a negotiator. He lays out some very tough things, and sometimes it works.
Your point is that you think it is a legitimate negotiating tool.
Absolutely.
Zuckerberg, who bankrolled Democrats and censored Trump, went back down to Mar-a-Lago for another meeting with 40.
Guys, and I just want to say this real quick because we can tend to forget it. They literally removed Donald Trump from Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. He couldn't even post. That's why he created True Social. So when it comes to being cool with these type of people like Mark Zuckerberg and these other ones, not so fast.
7. Democrat Senator John Fetterman also made the pilgrimage. Trump just said this, quote, "It was a totally fascinating meeting. He's a fascinating man, and his wife is lovely. They were both up, and I couldn't be more impressed. He's a common sense person. He's not liberal or conservative. He's just a common sense person, which is beautiful." And today we're learning Carrie Underwood is going to be performing at the inauguration next week. She's going to be singing America the Beautiful before Trump takes the oath of office. Snoop Dogg will also be performing on inauguration weekend. Kid Rock, Billy Ray Cyrus, and the Village People are going to be there too. Why? And the garbage truck that Trump rode in after Biden called us garbage will be in the inaugural parade driving down Pennsylvania Avenue. This year's inauguration is going to look a lot different than 16. Ticket sales are up. Protests are expected to be very small. It's a good way to start the presidency. But the real fight starts tomorrow. Pete Hegseth has his confirmation hearing. Get ready for fireworks. On Wednesday, Marco Rubio, Kristi Noem, Pam Bondi, Sean Duffy, and John Ratcliffe. Thursday, Doug Burgum and Treasury nominee Scott Bessent. Democrats aren't looking to work with Republicans. They want a war. Schumer said, quote, "Republicans spent 4 years attacking the Democratic brand, and we need to use the hearings to begin returning the favor." The resistance failed, but they're not done fighting.
If Donald Trump and Senate Republicans
do things to hurt you,
we will fight.
This is a new Congress. It is a new day.
We are united.
Determined. Ready.
The 119th Congress has begun.
Man.
The Democrats and all these bureaucrats behind the scenes, they're operating really secretively. But the Trump team's rooting them out. Incoming senior Trump administration officials have begun questioning career civil servants who work on the White House National Security Council about who they voted for, their political contributions, and whether they've made any social media posts that be considered incriminating. At least some of these non-political employees have begun packing up their bags.
Guys, I love it. What a turnaround. Just think about where we were 4 years ago when everything happened, and now look at us now. I want to show you this. So Elon Musk posted the massive federal bureaucracy, an unconstitutional fourth branch of government, will do everything possible to thwart the will of the people. Because look at this. This is from the leading report. 80% of federal government managers who voted for Harris said they will resist the efforts of the Trump administration, while just 1% say they will somewhat support him, according to a Neapolitan Institute RMG research survey. Insubordinate, I say, like, this is where we've been hearing talks of Trump saying they're going to have mass layoffs at the federal government. Fire them all. I promise you, there's probably some great conservative patriots that want to come and serve in the federal government and do the will of the people and put America first. But yet you've got 80% of these federal government agent managers who are going to resist everything that Trump wants to do. That's the problem with, it's like the deep state is so real and it's so infused in the government. Just like Bongino said, clean house, fire them all. If you had anything to do with it, you're gone. Listen to this, because I'm telling you, it's not over. Trump's about to get in office. We're about to have the hearings, but there's so much that we're about to see going on with all the people in the deep state. Listen to this.
Good to see you. What was this about today, do you think? I mean, Biden gets up there, speechwriters write this for him. He gets up and delivers it. He kind of does that kind of thing where he rants. It's a bad delivery, it's bad substance, and it's filled with lies. Other than that, it was great.
Well, look, we're seeing Joe Biden's cognitive decline increase day by day. This is a guy who's trying to say that we're safer on the world stage by delisting the Houthi rebels as a terrorist organization, which has now disrupted 12% of global trade. This is a guy who refused to stand by Israel after the October 7th incident to allow them to eliminate Hamas. And luckily, Benjamin Netanyahu didn't listen, which resulted in Hamas's leadership being eliminated with Sinwar, and also Hezbollah's leadership, Hassan Nasrallah, being eliminated. They put Iran on the actual target list and moved into Syria, helping the Syrian Democratic Forces, and that's led to Assad's fall. If they would have listened, we would be in a far worse position. Look, we need to get back to President Trump's foreign policy. We need to get back to getting a better relationship and bilateral agreements and trilateral agreements and strengthening the Quad with our allies and holding adversaries accountable. And Joe Biden had just completely lost. And if Kamala Harris could win, she would have. They lost the electoral votes and they lost by a massive spread. It was a landslide for President Trump. So I'm not sure what Joe Biden's doing, but he needs to go back to the basement eating ice cream.
Well, we found out also that the media won't give up trying to prop up Biden, despite everything we learned about him in his decline. The media today over at CNN, they said this.
He patted himself on the back, quite rightly, for alliances that he built, rebuilt, and European officials will tell you he brought in stability that they craved after the mercurial nature of the last Trump administration.
Wow. So it's, he deserves a big pat on the back.
Well, let's just go ahead and point out the fact that when he was vice president, it was Russia who invaded Ukraine, and it was his administration back then who refused lethal aid. It was President Trump who had approved that and slowed down Russia. As soon as he got back into office, Russia invaded even further into Europe. And so my whole thing is that he's not bringing stability. And as far as CNN and all the media propping him up like a weekend at Bernie's routine, they need to start calling it the way it is. Biden inflation has absolutely crippled the American people. Tens of millions of illegals have come across our borders, increase in sex trafficking of children, angel families. We had the botched withdrawal from Afghanistan that cost us 13 brave heroes, 13 new Gold Star families with no accountability. That's the real Biden administration.
Oh, yeah, he made just a passing reference to Afghanistan about why we needed to get out, but no reference to that horrific loss of life that still rests on their shoulders. And by the way, when he talked about the green, threat, the climate change as the existential threat, at the same time, the FBI director is sounding the alarm about the real threat. Check this out, Congressman.
There's another part of the Chinese cyber threat that I think has not gotten the attention publicly that it, I think, desperately deserves, and that is Chinese government's pre-positioning on American civilian critical infrastructure to lie in wait on those networks, to be in a position to wreak havoc and can inflict real-world harm at a time and place of their choosing.
Congressman, he went on to say that the malware that's already in our water treatment plants, transportation systems, energy systems, we've talked about this a lot on The Angle, it's already there. So what can Trump do to stop this or combat this at this point?
Well, look, the first thing we have to look at is the fact that the Chinese and the CCP have been buying up our farmlands and land around our military installations, that they've been flying spy balloons over the country with no consequence whatsoever, that they're launching drones and continuing to try and spy on the American people, and sitting in the Darien Gap, allowing fentanyl and other things to cross into our borders to poison tens of thousands of people. Look, China is not just a competitor, as the Democrats like to say. They're an adversarial nation. We saw that when they aligned themselves with China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea. Some of the most vile individuals are actually part of those administrations. And so what we need to do is we need Trump to come in, get the necessary tariffs in place. China's already seen that with the phase 1 deal, so they know that the president will make good economic deals. They know that he'll hold adversaries accountable like he did when he eliminated Qasem Soleimani, when he eliminated Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, when he actually listed terrorists. He's going to go after the cartels. He's going to secure our borders. And President Trump's going to hopefully take back farmlands from the Chinese ownership and return it back to the American people, because food security is national security.
You bet. It also includes our keeping U.S. steel and U.S. ownership, not giving it to any other country. Now, Congressman, I want to ask you about some breaking news tonight. So when Biden pardoned Hunter, his son, he said, I believe in the justice system, but as I've wrestled with this, I also believe raw politics has infected the process. It led to a miscarriage of justice. Well, today, Special Counsel Weiss, David Weiss, who was investigating Hunter, shot back saying that this statement is gratuitous and wrong. I remained impervious to political influence at all times. These baseless accusations have no merit, and repeating them threatens the integrity of the justice system as a whole. They went forward to say they're not going to make any statements on potential criminal wrongdoing, because obviously the pardon is in place. So Biden did his duty to his son there, I guess. But what are your comments about what Weiss said in response to the president's attack?
Well, look, they see it very clearly. There's a two-tiered justice system, and the Biden administration has been abusing it the entire time. We saw that with the weaponization of Jack Smith, who's now resigned. We've seen this even at the state level with attorney generals like Letitia James and also Fonnie Willis, the prosecutor who was actually coming out with her, Mr. Secret, discreet, kind of sexual exploitations of Nathan Wade. And so, look, these are all individuals who are utilized to try and go after President Trump and his family. And yet he said, I will not pardon my son. He made that very clear. Joe Biden did, and here he is because he knew the wrongdoing of his own son.
Well, Congressman, as always, great to have you on. Thank you so much.
Guys, I'm telling you, the lawfare, all the things that are out there, it's all coming to an end, because I'm telling you this. If you look there, like what I'm about to show you, the tides are turning. Like, everybody is turning over into the Trump agenda, especially your boy Ron DeSantis. Want to say thank you so much, Tip Trip Trap, for the super chat. Let's go. So it looks like I won't be spending any time in social media solitary confinement in 2025. Let's go. And then thank you so much, Tai Matt Chong, who said most of South Korea's citizens want U.S. military to stay in South Korea as alliance. People who ask to remove them, they are not regular Korean citizens. Hey, I'm telling you what, when USA is involved, you know things get done. Y'all show Ty and Chip some love in the chat, everybody. I want to show you this because, again, too, what's coming? DeSantis is not holding back. The mass deportations are real, and he's already giving notice to his entire state. This is what every state should be doing. Listen to this.
Have a responsibility to be in this fight. State and local officials in Florida must help the Trump administration enforce our nation's immigration laws. And we are going to need, in order to do that effectively, we are going to need legislation to impose additional duties on local officials and provide funding for those local officials. There also needs to be measures to hold people accountable who are violating our anti-sanctuary policies. And then Florida needs to make sure that we don't have any lingering incentives for people to come into our state illegally. So therefore, I'm going to call the legislature into special session starting the week of January 27th. We have the next president taking office January 20th. We anticipate executive orders to be issued immediately after the swearing in and the inaugural address. We're going to have some time to process to make sure we're doing what we need to do, but then we need to act, and we need to act quickly. We don't have time to waste. The American people spoke very clearly of all the issues out there, and there were a lot of very important issues. This issue of the border and illegal immigration was one of the top issues in the 2024 election, and has been one of the top issues that we've had in this country for many, many years.
Guys, don't you love it? Like, I'm telling you what, DeSantis, I would love to see him be one of the next president. I mean, JD Vance, trust me, I love JD Vance too, but DeSantis gets things done. He is like, with his state, he has shown so much just experience getting things done and making sure that what America is put first. Because just like I showed you this earlier, guys, this is beautiful right here. They're finally putting up the border wall. They're finally making sure that we're going to secure our borders. This is huge. I love it. Guys, I just want to say thank you to everybody that's watching. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. We are here for you guys to serve you every day with the top news, Monday through Friday, 2 shows a day, one on Saturday, one on Sunday with the breaking news. I got you. And if you don't mind, click the thumbs up like button, guys. It helps out so much with the channel. We appreciate your support. Thank you so much to our members of the channel. I tell you what, I love our chat. We got in here. Is somebody wanting me to do the Trump dance? Or we want to dance off or something like that? I love it. If we, I mean, guys, so y'all, this chat is so special. I love our people. I love our supporters. Y'all are the best. Want to say some thanks to Ronald Zimmerman, Virginia Friday, What's New, Lynn Defoe, Andy, Chip Trap, Ty Matt Chong. Y'all show them some love in the chat, everybody. Y'all are the best. I'm so excited about our giving for the year of 2025. Like I said, I really want our channel to be known, not just for reporting the truth and reporting breaking news, but for being a giving channel to charity to help move the world forward in a better place. I love you all so much. Appreciate your support, and we'll see you in the next one.